Okay, fellow classmates, I have the one and only Mr. Colin Hancock with us now. Needs no introduction, really. Uh, Cole, of course, was our head boy in 1993, and yeah, someone that you all should know pretty well. Cole was an outstanding leader for us. Did a really good job as a head boy, and I have fond memories of Colin, particularly as a really good rugby player. Unfortunately,
Really?
before the head knocks came along and sort of, that sort of took care of that. But you have a fond memory. I always knew that Colin would be some sort of physio or something because he was really good at cracking my back. So that was something I always remember. Hey, Cole. Welcome, mate. It's awesome to see you again. I personally haven't seen you since we left school, so bro, great to see you.
Yeah, thanks, huge. Yeah, it's been a long time, and I wasn't that great a rugby player, mate. In fact, I think the older you get, the better you were. So that's, I think, the old saying.
You were
But
right,
yeah,
mate.
no, I think in reflection, mate, it was a long time ago. Long time ago.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Okay, look, 7 questions, just so the rest of the guys can sort of have an idea of what you've been up to. Number one, nice and easy, is if you could just recap your time for us at Stream, where you came from, how long you were there.
Yeah. I was sent down there from the mighty Opotiki on the east coast. We were living up there at the time, and it was the choice of Opotiki High School or St Pat Silverstring.
Yeah.
And I had relations down in Wellington, so they sent me down there. And so it was a long bus rides. That's my memory of it. Just long bus rides. Me and the boys from, we had quite a few guys from Taupo and North. And there was buses that would go up to Taranaki and some that would go up toward Hawke's Bay, and ours would go right up the guts, take us all the way back home. I remember 12-hour bus rides.
Wow.
And we would just, you'd have the whole term at school. I got a few weekends out to go see aunts and uncles, but yeah, I just remember those early years at the high school were pretty tough going in terms of travel, but yeah, great bunch of guys to hang out with during the year. And got fond memories of my time at St Pat's and all my learnings. I had all my cousins all went to St Pat's Town, so they all gave us a good ribbing. But luckily, we beat them in quite a bit of sports. Apart from athletics, was never our. We always wanted to beat them in Old Boys Cup. Never managed it, but yeah.
Oh, awesome.
But yeah, I enjoyed. Yeah. So I came from Portuguese, and then Taupo was sort of my hometown, and so Taupo and Portuguese, and then so I did the 5 years traveling up and down the country. So yeah, was that the kind of thing you wanted?
That's perfect. Okay, number two is, what did you do the year immediately after leaving St. Pat's Stream?
I went down to Otago University and decided to get into physiotherapy. We were lucky enough back then to go straight to physio school. And so, yeah, I went straight down there and awesome. Got into it and enjoyed my time down there at Otago University. So, yeah.
So you're a Scarfie?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, enjoyed my time down there too. So,
yeah, good on you. Was there anyone else from our year group that went to Otago?
Yeah, there was a few. Who do we have? Andrew Blumen, Greg Burke.
Yeah, awesome.
Greg Moikey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we spent our time down there together. Who else was down there? Gosh, it was a long time ago, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I think those are the main ones I can remember. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Question 3 is, look, occupation and work. So what do you do now, and have you been doing that the whole time, or have you had various other jobs in the last nearly 30 years?
Well, physiotherapy is kind of one of these things that you get into it. There's not a lot of lateral. So you're either into it or you've got to move on. So, yeah, I've been doing it ever since then. And I did a couple of years in Wellington, down in Petone there. And then I travelled, so I was Hard Old Boys Marist, nice. Did a few years for them.
Yep.
And then I got a job in Burwood Spinal Unit. spent
Oh,
a year
wow.
down there, and then I did 4 years living in England. I got married and went overseas, and we did that old OE over there, and I did a bit of locuming work in England for 4 years, and then came back. We had our first children over there, and then came back to New Zealand and got a job. Well, actually, my wife got a job in Christchurch, so that took us to Christchurch.
Awesome.
And we lasted there for about 8 years, and then the earthquakes all happened, and earthquakes sort of beaten up Christchurch a little bit. So we decided to move on from there, and we moved back to up north, closer to family.
Yeah.
And I've been in Taupo ever since then. So been in Taupo now since about 2012.
Oh, awesome.
I've now got my own business here now, so that's been ticking over for the last 3 years or so,
Yeah.
and it's been going really well. So
I can see your top there. Is it Great Lakes Physio? Is it?
Yeah, Great Lake Physio.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So yeah, just focusing on mainly sports medicine. It's kind of one of my passions. It's been ever since the first 15 days.
Yeah.
It's always been my sort of passion to get into sports physio. So I've spent about 7 or 8 years physioing for King Country Rugby, and then I'm now their health navigation officer. So I look after all the injuries right across the province.
Wow.
And
good on you.
so, and of course run the practice. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Still in physio, still loving it.
Good
so
man.
It's good.
Well, good segue. Next question. Married, kids?
Yep, married with 2 daughters. They're now 17 and 15. And so yeah, it's been keep going out the other end now. So they're heading out the other end of high school.
Yeah.
My wife is Sarah. She's we've been married now 20. She married in 2000. So perfect year because I can now remember that really easily.
Well done, mate. Yeah, that's
so
great.
Like all the head knots. I gotta keep it simple, eh? So, so 21 years now, and then she's just finished her PhD in public health nutrition. So she's a doctorate.
Fantastic.
So my wife's way smarter than me.
That sounds like me.
Yeah.
I think most of us
married up. We married up.
I almost guarantee most of our boys will be in the same boat. We're smart enough to know that.
Sure.
Well done. So just recapping, where are you living right now at the moment?
Taupo.
Awesome. So right in the central North Island.
That's right.
Second to last question. Might take a wee bit to think about what do you or who do you remember most from Stream?
Yeah. Well, you mean I remember.
Could be a particular event or a particular person that sort of has stuck with you all this time.
Yeah, obviously, you think of your boarding masters, Brother Bede and Father Donahue, Roland Donahue. I mean, they were great people, and we learned so much from them, and I guess the other friendships we made there, they gives you learnings along the way, and I think I've still got a very strong Catholic faith, so I'm a church-going sort of Catholic. So my family are. So they gave me some good grounding my time at St. Pat's, and I take that with me wherever I go. And there's no mistake why they probably called me Jesus at school because that's very much part of who I am, and so. Yeah, I think I've got some fond memories, some not so good memories. I still remember, and I still get the total red-faced moment thinking about my speech and my final year. Like when the alarms went off at the beginning of my speech. You remember that?
Yeah, I was actually overseas when you would have done that.
Oh, really?
I don't remember that. I don't know if I don't know if you recall, but I did that AFS exchange, so I left 3/4 of the way through. So you would have. Are you talking about a speech you did at the end of the year?
Yeah, and the fire alarm went off. That's definitely a down moment. I do remember, musicals and things like that we did.
Yeah.
And I think those sort of things bring back memories. Yeah, a good friend of mine throughout my schooling years was Jared Dwyer.
Yep.
And we were good mates all the way through through high school. So, yeah, and
great guy from the Taranaki.
Yep, that's right.
Yep. Well, I admire you that you just mentioned about the faith thing, because I think, me myself included, really didn't carry on much post Silverstream. So good on you, and I know that you're in good company with our good mate Chris Fui, who has definitely found and cemented in his faith. He was teaching, RE for many years at Silverstream, which I just, took my hat off to him. And now, of course, he's guidance counsellor at Town. So he's someone that, one, surprised me that he took that route. But on the other hand, just really proud of him, because he's, how much of a top guy he is. And for him to get into that whole faith, and the kids love him, he's just perfect for that sort of whatever leadership, mentorship role.
I tell you, there's something about Chris. Like, he was just one of those guys you just couldn't dislike. He was just an amazing. He had that personality. He was just such a likable guy. So spending 5 years in boarding school with a guy like that, you just can't not like the guy. He's got a great personality.
Yeah, he sure has, and we'll be catching up with him on this link. Last question: do you keep in touch with anyone of? You've mentioned a couple, but is there anyone else that you keep in touch with from our year group?
Yeah. Look, there is a few guys, but like I've just started touching base with Sintiang.
Yes.
Do you remember him?
I remember him. I remember him very well.
Yeah, he was my dorm buddy up in that that top of I can't remember what it was called. The main section there, of the main frontage of the school, and he's now the Minister of Health for Kiribati. So it blows me away that he's gone up so big in the world. But like,
I remember him well, and when you mentioned that to me this morning, I sort of looked him up, and not only is he the current minister over there, but his background on what he's been doing in medicine, in plastic surgery, stem cell research, he's amazing. He was such a cool guy at school, quiet, always had a big smile on his face, a huge academic, but he's someone I'd love to catch up with one day. But I remember Sinte very well, someone we should be very, very proud of.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And, as I say, there's a few other people that I sort of catch up with and have a little bit of a text, conversations with along the way. There's been a few more this year, actually, that I've caught up with and sort of, I was quite late to the Facebook thing. When I moved to Taupo, actually, it was the first time I ever got into Facebook. And it was only because my boss said, you've got to get into Facebook if you, so I'm like, okay, I'll get into Facebook. So by that time, loads of people have linked up, and I was a bit late to the piece, really. I'm not really a big Facebooker, but it's it's a great way to connect with people, I guess, isn't it? So
yeah, most definitely. All right, Cole. Well, listen, my friend, that's all I've got. That's all the questions, mate. You've done a great job of answering those. I'm sure all the guys will love seeing you and hearing about what you've been up to. Probably like me, a lot of them haven't seen you since '93. Which is a long time ago. But, mate, let's keep in touch. It's sort of not a mission, but it's just something I'd like to do now. Is just keep everyone in the loop, and if they want to keep in touch, they can. But I thought this would be a good way just to start off with. But thanks so much for your time, brother.
Thanks, Eugene. It's great to see you, mate.
Good to see you.
Look after yourself.
You too, Cole. Take care.
Mate. Cheers.
See you, mate. Bye.